Dear friends, now we are going to introduce the concept of object oriented programming. In the object oriented programming, it beat to the real world right now. Each and everyone going for the object oriented program. The benefit of using object oriented programming is that all the programs are in dynamic in nature. That is, the in process, as you have learned in the process oriented programming, the process oriented programming having so many drawbacks. To overcome these all limitations, we are moving to the object oriented programming. In the object oriented programming, the features like encapsulation, data hiding, inheritance, polymorphism, the concept of class and object, these all provides better facility and writing dynamic coding for each and everyone. So in this programming concept, there is a separate concern for data structure and the concurrent process that act upon that. Object oriented programming paradigm based on the concept of object, which may contain data in the form of fields known as attributes and code. There is a two separate entity, that is fields and methods. The fields are the variables that are declared inside the classes that we are assigning some value. The methods are the members that allow to access the data from these variables. So these are not dependent with each other, these are independent in nature, wherein in object oriented the data is dependent on the method. In this model, we create an object for each and every class. The object is completely responsible for sending and receiving data from the fields. Each object having certain behavior like its state, each object having its state and behavior. The state defines the number of variables the number of variables are associated with. The behavior represents the number of methods are working with that object. So each object has its own properties belongs to that class. Next we are going through the OOPS concept. What are the features? These features includes the encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, polymorphism, object oriented programming features, and data hiding. These all are the major features of object oriented programming. Encapsulation, that makes program hour easier to manage because each object is implemented its state and hidden behind the well defined boundary. The polymorphism defines the multiple methods can be implemented with different work with the same name. It is actually the polymorphism concept derived from a word called polymorphos, means within one class more than one method's names are same but their work is different. These methods are defined according to their parameter list and each method will work at different. In this case also you can implement the concept of overriding and overloading. Inheritance is another great features of a object oriented programming. The inheritance play a sharing of a data between the superclass and subclass. The superclass share all the data to their subclasses. So the benefit is that the code can be reused. Means once the code is written, that can be used for a number of times in different classes. The advantages is that the code can be designed, the code can be used for a number of times without rewriting. That is the major advantages in this programming language. So the larger programs can be distributed to the multiple users and the multiple users can be inherited from one superclass. That features. In this object oriented programming, the programs includes reusability, refactoring, extensibility and maintain and the efficiency of the program. So at any part of the program we can modify, we can add as we like. That type of flexibility with this object oriented programming. One of the greatest benefit of the OOS is that scalability and object with having no definite limit. Okay, so the greatest benefit of which is that is scalability, means we can modify the code time to time and define it. So no, there is no such finite limitations. Now OOPS becomes the fundamental part of a software development nowadays, because of it provides a lightweight code, and the benefit is that everyone can modify, the multiple user can work, modularity for easier troubleshooting, reuse of code through inheritance, flexibility through the polymorphism, and the effective problem solving. These are the major advantages of process oriented programming. So here we have explained the major difference between the object oriented and process oriented programming. See, the large programs are divided into smaller called functions, where is no separate part. Small programs called small part is called object. Importance is given data in process oriented, whereas it importance given on the function. It is a more important which work with the real world. Approach, it is a top down approach, it is a bottom down approach. Assessing, there is a no specific access specifier are used, whereas it uses the public, private, protected access specifier. By default, it includes the concept of encapsulation. According to the access specifier, it allowed to share the data from one class to another. In the process oriented programming, the data can move freely from one function to another, whereas in object oriented programming, the data will be travel with the help of object only. The object allowed to transmit data from one place to another. To add a new data in the function, it takes more complex, because the user have to go through the entire program and take the necessary changes. Whereas in object oriented programming, we can go to a particular module and change. So like this, these are the so many features are available, so that each and everyone going for process oriented object oriented programming. Thank you for watching this video.